Hello and welcome to our weight management presentation. My name is Caitlin Gaho and I am Sharp Health Plan's Best Health Wellness Coordinator, and this is Michelle.
Hi, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I'm one of the health coaches here at Best Health.
All right, so today we're going to focus on what is a healthy weight, why pay attention to your weight, small changes equals big results, dieting versus a lifestyle change, where do I begin, reaching your goals, and lastly, we'll add some resources. So what is a healthy weight? A healthy weight is defined as a weight that lowers your risk for health problems. And is it really all about your weight on the scale? Body composition is the proportion of fat and non-fat mass in your body. So BMI is the easiest way to assess body composition. There are other tools that could be more accurate though, so we'll explore those in the upcoming slides. All right, so this is the BMI reference chart, and BMI just means body mass index, and it's an assessment that compares your body weight to your height, and it comes up with a value that indicates whether you are underweight, normal weight, overweight, or obese, grade 1, 2, or 3. And the problem with this, though, is that body weight and not percent body fat is used in determining BMI. So to assess people who are heavily muscled, such as bodybuilders, or who have a little bit more of an athletic body type, or even those who have too little muscle can be an issue. Because muscle weighs more than fat, those who have well-developed muscles typically appear overweight or obese according to the BMI reference chart. But overall, BMI is a good way for most people to tell if they're at risk for health problems because of their weight. But this method is not perfect. So we're going to talk about a little bit more on other tools. Okay, so some other tools for body composition. We have percent body fat. So assessing body composition by estimating your body fat and or your waist circumference can be a little bit more accurate. For percent body fat, we have scales that measure this now. It's called bioelectrical impedance. It sends a weak electrical current through your body. There's an example of one called Renpho. It's kind of like just a scale on the ground where you put your feet on it, and that actually sends a signal through your body. And it actually is attached to an app, which is pretty cool. So you can test your percent body fat through that. You can get those on Amazon or wherever online. There's also handheld ones at the gyms. A lot of personal trainers will have it too. And there's other ways to test percent body fat, a little bit more involved. So we also have skin fold measurements. Some personal trainers will do that. Also a DEXA scan or hydrostatic weighing. Those are typically used by research universities. So here's an example of the percent body fat chart in the different descriptions for women and men. And the acceptable, we kind of look at that mostly 25 to 31% for women, and men is 18 to 24%. Another way that you can measure your body composition is through waist circumference. So having extra abdominal fat raises your risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. So measuring the waist circumference is a pretty quick and easy way to know if you're at increased risk. So what you'll do is you'll use a non-elastic measuring tape, wrap the tape around your abdomen at the smallest point at or around your belly button, and then pull the tape tight enough to keep it in position, but not too tight to create an indentation. And you're at high risk if your waist circumference is, for women, greater than 35 inches, and then men greater than 40 inches. And a couple uncontrollable factors for body composition are age, genes, hormones, and sex. So some of the things you can't control there. But if you know that your body fat percentage is a little too high, you can always improve it by gaining lean body mass through building muscle and bones and by losing excess body fats. We'll talk more about that in the next couple slides.
All right. So now that Caitlin has shared some tools with us to help determine what a healthy weight is, let's talk about the why. So in addition to feeling better now, maintaining a healthy weight helps reduce future risk of developing chronic conditions such as heart disease, stroke, and high blood pressure. Heart disease is the #1 killer of both men and women in the United States. A heart-healthy lifestyle is important for everyone, and it can help us keep our heart and blood vessels healthy, as well as lower our risk for a heart attack or stroke. In terms of type 2 diabetes and prediabetes, maintaining a healthy weight can also help with this. The CDC estimates that 1 in 3 adults have prediabetes. And prediabetes is a health condition where blood sugars are generally higher, higher than normal, but not high enough yet to be diagnosed as diabetes. And with type 2 diabetes, your body basically is not using insulin well and can't keep blood sugar at normal levels. And finally, sleep apnea. Sleep apnea is a potentially serious disorder in which breathing repeatedly stops and starts. So it may cause you to snore loudly and not sleep well, and you would wake up feeling tired. So as we can see, maintaining a healthy weight helps lower your risk for developing these above stated conditions, as well as numerous others. And now we'll review what we can do in terms of prevention. Small changes equals big results. New research shows just how beneficial losing 5 to 10% of one's body weight can be. In a study, people lost 5% of their body weight. People who lost 5% of their body weight were found to have improvements in the conditions noted here. So basically cholesterol, blood pressure, insulin resistance, and inflammation. An example here would be if you weigh 200 pounds, a 5% weight loss would equal to 10 pounds, so basically bringing your weight down to 190 pounds. While this may still be in the overweight or obese range, this modest weight loss can decrease your risk factors for chronic diseases.
All right, thanks, Michelle. So we're going to talk now about the difference between dieting and then lifestyle change. So does this cycle look familiar? So you start a diet, you lose the weight, you stop the diet, you quickly gain your weight back, and then you're 5 pounds higher than your original starting weight. So diets are temporary. When you diet, you're usually not eating the way you'll need to eat over the long term. So then when you quit dieting, the extra weight comes back. And dieting usually means not letting yourself have many of the foods you love to eat. So when you stop your diet, you end up returning to eating the foods as much as you used to, or maybe even more. And dieting often means eating so little food that you're hungry a lot of the times and don't have enough energy. And many diet programs may not include an increase in activity, which is vital to staying at a healthy weight. Many diets do not include the right balance of foods to keep you healthy as well. Dieting can lead to eating disorders in some people. Some people feel so defeated after repeatedly failing to lose weight and keep it off that they give up altogether on healthy eating and being active. So we're going to talk about a little bit more on dieting. So it can help shed pounds. There's definitely good things to it, but sometimes it is hard to keep that weight off, which is why making changes in your lifestyle can lead to longer lasting results. So here are some examples of different diets. We have the Mediterranean diet, which is rich in veggies, fruits, whole grains, fatty fish, olive oil, nuts, legumes, and dairy. We have WW, which is formerly Weight Watchers. So that's all about points for different foods, less points for more nutrient-rich foods. We have the vegetarian diet, not eating meat and opting to eat plant-based foods. Flexitarian diet, where you're going back and forth from eating plant-based, but sometimes you can eat meat. So it's kind of a little bit more flexible than the vegetarian diet. And then we have intermittent fasting, involves extended periods of not eating. And then Whole 30 is eating whole foods instead of processed, but also limits legumes, dairy, and grains. It's really meant to be 30 days. And paleo or paleo vegan, i.e. pegan. Paleo is the hunter-gatherer diet with meat, nuts, berries, seeds, fruit, veggies. And pegan is that, but also focusing on fruit and vegetables and small amounts of meat, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Keto is high fat and protein and low carb. So your body goes into a state of ketosis, which is the fat burning state. And then that's focusing on proteins and vegetables mainly. And then cleanse diets, of course, juices, supplements for short amounts of time. These are not a one size fits all. So if a friend told you if it worked for them, it may or may not work for you. It is best to talk to your doctor and or registered dietitian if you'd like to start a new eating program. But we always say for long-term maintenance and overall health, lifestyle changes and general healthy choices are a better option, with choosing whole foods, less processed foods, getting more fiber and water.
So where do we begin? Well, now that we know why it's important to maintain a healthy weight, we're going to talk a little bit of, or actually share a few tips about how to actually do it. 5 steps to reaching a healthy weight. So in the next several slides, we will dive a little deeper into the following steps. Number 1, talk with your doctor. We recommend talking to your doctor whenever you're considering a significant lifestyle change. He or she may have some helpful tips, or they may want to run some blood work if necessary. Improve your eating habits slowly. Of course, anything that we do is always good to do at a nice slow pace and not take on too much at one time. Improve your sleep. We'll talk a little bit more about, actually, Caitlin will provide some tips about how to improve your sleep to make sure that we can be at our best when it comes to focusing on weight management. And that then also correlates with get moving because, of course, we know that physical activity is very important when it comes to weight management. And also very important is last here on this list, check your mindset. We know that when we reframe or think of things perhaps in a different sort of way or mindset, it can certainly make a difference. So let's dive in. All right, so improve your eating habits. One recommendation is to explore the plate method. And basically, the plate method is fairly simple. You're just looking at your plate and making sure that you see the following. Ideally, half of your plate will be filled with veggies and fruit. A quarter of your plate will have a lean, healthy protein. And then the other quarter will be a carb, preferably a quality high fiber carb. Increase nutrient dense foods. With this specific recommendation, it's basically looking to make sure that you are having nutrient-dense foods, which are fruits and vegetables typically that are dark, rich in color, soft, such as leafy green vegetables, berries, and carrots. Other examples would be whole grains, nuts, and seeds. These foods have a wide variety of vitamins and minerals and also carry all important antioxidants, which are really important right now to help prevent illness. Increase your fiber and protein for satiety. Of course, we know that with more, if we eat more of the foods we just discussed, such as the nutrient-dense foods, typically they will be higher in fiber and therefore will keep us full. And so if we are satiated, we tend to eat less. Be mindful of your liquid calories. Again, well, with this particular recommendation, this is one that is often overlooked, but we really want to make sure we are limiting any drinks that are high in sugar. Obvious choices are soda. However, some juicing, even though it's very popular, and smoothies, of course, although can be good for us, some of them do have a high sugar content. And along the same lines, they're also important to be mindful of our alcohol intake, since that also alcohol can be also quite high in sugar as well, and not to mention dehydrating. So the next suggestion here is to stay dehydrated. Want to make sure that we're getting most of our hydration from good, clean, healthy water. As far as tracking food and activity, this is a practice that many people already do, either using an app or maybe keeping a food journal. But we do know that what we measure, we can control. So if we are able to keep track of what we're eating and how we're moving our bodies, we typically will be able to implement some changes where needed or improvements with that. And then finally, practice intuitive eating. And intuitive eating is a great concept when it comes to nutrition, very focused on self-care. So it's a practice that basically honors both our physical and mental health, that integrates instinct, emotion, and rational thought, which was created back in the 90s, but it has become fairly popular. And so we'll dive into each of these as well.
All right. So, as Michelle touched on intuitive eating for improving your eating habits, part of that is mindfully eating. And to remember that food should taste good and make you feel good. So, with mindful eating, I like this plate picture because it kind of explains what it is. So, observing, savoring, being aware, being in the moment, being non judgmental. So, some tips with mindful eating: take a few deep breaths before beginning eating your meal. Be present, focus on your food, on what you're eating. Notice your body and notice your food. Limit your distractions. Don't sit in front of the TV because then you will be mindlessly eating. Stay in a place of non judgment. So speak mindfully and compassionately. Don't be judging when your body and yourself when you're eating different foods, and don't have rigid rules. Just be non-judgmental about when you're eating. And then using your five senses. So using your sight, using touch, the smell of the food, what you're hearing, the taste of the food, really focusing on your senses, and slow your eating. Really slowly eat and focus on your food and what you're eating. And then tune into your physical hunger and your fullness cues. And then take time to breathe. And also drink water in between meals. That can help with fullness. Consider including some statements of gratitude, being grateful and thankful for your food and for yourself, and for the time you're taking preparing the food or during the meal. And then when your mind wanders, just gently refocus on your senses. So, also, we want to talk about improving your sleep. This is really helpful for weight management. So, people who are getting less than 6 hours of sleep are more likely to be diagnosed as obese. And then other conditions like sleep apnea and depression can interfere with sleep. And inadequate sleep can disrupt hormone levels and circadian rhythms and lead to weight gain. So, really keep a regular sleep schedule. It's very important to have that regular time that you're going to bed. Aim for 6 to 8 hours a night. Keep the room pretty dark where you sleep, and then try not to eat 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Reduce stress with some mindfulness activities, self care. Walking is awesome, getting that regular exercise in. And we'll talk more about that too. Yes, getting moving. So finding an exercise you like to do, super helpful when you're having fun. Maybe even getting back to playing an old sport that you did, maybe playing out in the yard with your kids. Just make it fun. And then exercise can also be done all at once or split up throughout the day. Even if you do three small 10-minute walks, that's very helpful and more doable than sometimes like a 30 or 40-minute walk. And then, of course, make a plan before you start. Trackers can help a lot with planning and also with estimating your calories burned. Some great trackers are MyFitnessPal, my Apple Watch. I love it. It always tracks and tells me how, if I've gotten to my goals. You can input your goals in it. That's really fun to have that reward. Garmin's, same thing. Yeah, it's just seeing that accomplishment on your wrist is really great, or on your app. And then, of course, always consult your doctor if you do plan to make some big changes in your exercise routine.
All right, thanks, Caitlin. Next up is how to make sustainable changes. In other words, make changes that are not so extreme that you can't keep them up over time. And one of the things I've learned from working as a coach is that many of us do struggle with follow through. And this is most often because we tend to take on too much too soon. So if we practice on or focus on starting small, changing one thing at a time, and then also involving a buddy or perhaps an accountability partner to help with the changes that we're trying to implement, that can be very helpful and effective. And then finally, last but not least, it's always important to plan ahead for unexpected situations. So, really having a good plan B to back up the whatever plan you had to start with can be really helpful to prepare for any obstacles that may come up. And common thinking traps. So here we have some common thinking traps that can often be a challenge when trying to make change. So, for example, staying clear of the all or nothing mentality when we get off track. So basically not thinking in black and white, just really allowing ourselves some flexibility when there aren't too many options, as opposed to rigidity to goals if need be. Rationalizing exceptions to your goals. This can often lead to extra calories if we are not being accountable to certain situations. So, for example, saying, "Oh, it's a special day," or "It's my birthday," or whatever the occasion might be. Of course, we want to enjoy the occasion. However, we also want to do so with mindfulness. Making sure that we're thinking ahead. And we'll get to mindless eating in just a bit. Mistaking cravings for hunger. Again, we will. Caitlin talked a little bit about mindless eating already, but we know that just from what she shared and in general, it can be so helpful and make a great difference if we're able to just stop and pause and think, and maybe even ask ourselves a very simple question, which would be, am I really hungry? Is it something that I need to do right now? And then if you are, well, then definitely have a snack. But sometimes the mindless eating is what can really get us off track and lead to some unnecessary eating. And then finally, obsessing over a food item. So if we go through all these different thinking traps that we just mentioned, and we still are thinking about that one specific food item, whatever it may be, it could be helpful to just maybe plan that that we're planning that particular item. So for example, if it's pizza, then you can have that mindfully plan it out and have a healthy portion, as opposed to having it on a whim and not really thinking ahead before you have it. So what I call the plan indulgence, perhaps. And all of us have our favorite foods, so I don't think there's any exceptions to that. So it's just a matter of really planning when to have it, how much you'll have, and perhaps making sure that the day you have it, you'll be extra active, perhaps. And strive for balance. So here, both activity and nutrition, of course, are both important parts of weight loss. Everyone's individual balance is different, of course. So here's where it can be really helpful to reframe your thinking when it comes to weight management. And as Kayla mentioned earlier, regarding the different diets that she reviewed, the most important thing is to look at this as a lifestyle, something that's going to be sustainable and ongoing, as opposed to something temporary. And ideally, that lifestyle will include healthy eating, regular physical activity, and balancing the calories you consume with the calories your body uses.
All right. So now we're going to talk about reaching our goals and our weight management goals and how we can do that. So a little wrap up, tips, tricks, and best practices. Find a support system and reframe your thinking. Really great to have those supportive community and also to be reframing, and as we talked about. And then when you get stuck, review and switch things up. So if you're stuck at a certain weight, maybe changing up your workouts or eating different food, it maybe increasing your water could be helpful. So do a little change on that. And then create a wellness vision. Get back to your why and imagine yourself at your best and what you would be doing more of or less of. For example, reducing joint pain or getting back to a sport or activity you used to do, or even starting a new one. Setting SMART goals. We'll talk a little bit more about this, but it's specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. And then also reaching out to a coach is very helpful. We have our health coaches here through the phone, and we'll go a little bit more detail on that.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about SMART goals. So basically, when you form a SMART goal, you are setting yourself up for success. And so we'll go through each one of these. And SMART is basically an acronym for the following. S stands for specific. So we want to make sure that when we're setting a goal, we define the goal as much as possible with no ambiguous language. So knowing who's involved, what do I want to accomplish, where will it be done, and why am I doing this? M would be for measurable. And here, just making sure that we are tracking and our progress, and then also measuring the outcome. So how much, how many, how will you know when your goal is accomplished? That can be really helpful. Attainable. So that's more the how. Is the goal reasonable enough to be accomplished, and how so? We want to make sure that the goal is not out of reach, or also not too easy perhaps, or below our standard performance. R stands for relevant. Is the goal worthwhile, and will it meet your needs? Is each goal consistent with other goals that you've established, and does it fit in with your immediate or long-term plans? And finally, T, timely. Our objective should include a time limit. So I will complete this step by X date. It will establish a sense of urgency and prompt you to have better time management. So just to give you an example of what a SMART goal looks like, we could say I will spend an hour every Sunday evening for the rest of the month creating a meal plan for the upcoming week and prepping any food items. This will reduce the amount of processed foods that I consume, as well as eating out, and will also save money. And now we come to Best Health Coaches. Again, as you all know, I am one of the health coaches, and I just like to share a little bit about our program and really encourage everyone to take advantage of it. Basically, it is a 6-week program at no cost to you, the member. It entails a weekly phone call. It is a goal-oriented program, so you can count on setting the SMART goals that I just discussed. And we have 5 core programs: weight management, tobacco cessation, nutrition, an exercise program, as well as stress management. And then finally, how to get in touch with us or how to get started. You can email us at besthealth@sharp.com and just request that you would like to get started with a coaching program, and then someone will follow up and send you a coaching request form. And then the rest will be taken care of. You're able to schedule a consultation call, which we highly recommend, so that way you can know what the program entails and ask any specific questions you might have before enrolling in the program. And so most important, I just want to share that coaching can be really helpful to make sure that you are able to have that opportunity to share your challenges and strengths with your coach. We basically will co-create a plan to help support you in taking small steps to transform your health habits.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. We also wanted to highlight some Best Health, Wellness, and Fitness discounts because we are talking about weight management and moving more. So Studio Sweat on Demand, Studio Sweat's a local fitness center offering a streaming fitness on demand product. They have a library of over 1,000 fitness classes to choose. It's kind of like a Netflix of exercise programs. You're going to have Pilates, you're going to have cycling, HIIT, strength training, cardio, kickboxing, anything, you name it, it'll be on there. All you need is your internet, PC, tablet, laptop, whatever device you'd like to watch it on, and you can work out wherever and whenever you want. And for Sharp Health Plan members and Best Health users, they get a discounted rate of only $9 a month. And then we also have Choose Healthy. That's another discount program we have. So we have Active and Fit Direct, which is a consumer self-pay fitness program. And you choose from about 10,000 or more participating fitness centers for only $25 a month. So it's really great. You can go to all different fitness centers. And if you have a different favorite exercise class that you want to go to, you can go to that one week, and then another week you like this workout facility better, you can go to that. So it's really great to have those options. And they also have a lot of online classes right now too. And then we also have a discount program with Choose Healthy, and that's up to 57% off of products from popular health and fitness brands like Fitbit, Garmin, Zumba, Skechers, and Proform, and more. And lastly, we wanted to end with some virtual resources to help you stay at a healthy weight. We did talk about Studio Sweat already and health coaching through Best Health. And we also have our Best Health site that you can check out with some awesome learning modules and trackers and different things on the site, which is great. And we wanted to highlight a Nutrition Matters podcast. It's really cool. It's a registered dietitian who explores the positive nutrition approach to health and eating and body image. MyFitnessPal is this blue icon here, really great food and activity tracking app. We also have Lose It, a food tracking app where you learn about the foods you're eating as well. And then My Net Diary is a little food diary, and there's also a nutrition assistant too, just to kind of motivate you and encourage you. And then if you want to check out your employer group, a lot of times they'll have info. Maybe they're doing a healthy weight challenge or program or something else. So check that out, or maybe even, uh, encourage your employer to do something like that and get other employees improving their overall well-being. All right, we just wanted to say thank you so much, and thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.